Hey everybody, welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
As always on my right, the hardest working and very underpaid super producer Jason, doing what he does best. We had a little bit of gremlins, but he's the man, and he got us off here on time. Now guys, a couple things. First of all, I do want to say thank you so much for joining us already, but if you can please get some more folks in that chat, get them in here, and we can have a nice, fun conversation. The Sharks coming off of a win tonight. We'll definitely be talking about that. But I do want to call out the other thing here. We have a super chat for the first time in a long time. Peter St. John, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Do appreciate you. Let's see what Peter St. John had to say. Aaron.
I'm wondering if Mike Grier's goal of creating competition for roster spots and ice time is in part responsible for the unimaginably fast turnaround this season. Part 2, kind of got jumbled here, but did Mike Grier think such a competitive atmosphere would accelerate a return to competitiveness? That is a part of it. I wouldn't say that's the only part of it, but that absolutely, Mike Grier, growing up in that kind of environment, he's going to do what helped him become a successful NHL player. You can tell by kind of the people that he likes to surround himself with, but also the players that he gets on his team. He wants hardworking guys. Yeah. You don't have to have the most skill. Obviously, it helps if you have skill, but you also have to have the hard work that goes with the skill. So, what Peter's talking about is something that Mike Grier had spoke about, I think, years ago now, at least 2 years ago, where his plan is to kind of not just build competitiveness, but also overbake the prospects, is the term that he used, where they're going to be spending a lot of time in the lower levels and work their way up, but also having multiple competition, because players like, look on the fourth line, right? You have Gaudreau, Dellandrea, and Revo, and sometimes a couple other guys, right? Yeah. Those they're not locked in those spots, right? Nobody is locked into their spot, really. If you're not going to do well, you're going to get either demoted or scratched or whatever. That, I think, is definitely a part of what they're doing. I mean, look at the defensemen currently right now. Yeah. There's eight NHL defensemen on this team, and they're kind of playing whack-a-mole with the IR and calling guys up and sending them down. So right now they're kind of in a lucky position, but they are definitely going to have to be in. They're going to be in a bad position coming once Misa comes back from IR, because now he is on the IR with that extra contract that's going to hit the books. So again, Mike Grier punting down the road, at least for now. But yes, a long-winded answer. I think competitiveness is helping do part of this turnaround and making it quicker.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it too. I think definitely when you've got guys that are fighting for the same spot, it certainly helps. But, honestly, and we'll talk about this a little bit later on, I listened to the game today, and it was TJ Oshie, former NHLer and Stanley Cup champion, doing some of the commentary on the Minnesota feed, or at least the ESPN feed. And he was just gushing over Macklin Celebrini and how good he is and everything else. But it wasn't so much the skill. It was the hard work. It was the work ethic. And hearing that coming from a guy like TJ Oshie, who's been there, done that. Mm-hmm. If you remember the Sochi Olympics, he was like the savior of Team USA in that shootout. I mean, he's a big-time hockey player, right? So to hear him gushing over the things that Macklin does away from the puck, right? And he's talking about, man, you look at him back-checking and how hard he's skating and how hard he's working and trying to put guys in walls and trying to win these physical battles. Forget the stick handling and everything else, the zone entries and the things the guy already does extremely well. It's those other little things that TJ was talking about. And one of the things he said was he's willing his team. He is driving his team to be better. And honestly, I think that is a big part of it as well. I think a lot of guys on that team were excited to be playing with a guy like this, right? Yeah. And I think that gives everybody else just a little bit of juice.
It's contagious.
Yes,
right?
absolutely. We talked about that last week. Used that word contagious last week. And I agree. Yeah. I think that's a big part of it, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, definitely. You've got these guys that are kind of cooking in the AHL, like Aaron just talked about. And, I mean, my goodness. We talked about, Chernyshov and Lund and Bjugstad and all these guys that are still in there that could be NHL players. And we've already got a roster full of guys that are proving that they were good enough in the NHL.
They're gelling now, right?
Yeah.
They're looking pretty good in the last 10, 12 days.
We've got a real problem on our hands, Aaron. I'm telling you.
A good problem.
Yes.
A good problem. We haven't had this problem in a long time. And it's very weird, I think, for the Sharks fans, because it's been 4 or 5 years since they've been in a over 500 team. Yeah. Not even a playoff team, but over 500 team. having this many guys in those positions that are NHL caliber. How many times we look at this roster and we just go, oof, man, this is like an AHL team right now that's competing in the NHL. It's so sad.
You know what's hilarious is Nick Mellon just said, guys, wake up. It's 2014. The Cali teams are 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, he's talking about the Sharks, LA, and Anaheim, right? That used to be the gauntlet. Like, teams hated coming through California because they would, though at that time, they were heavy teams. They were big boys, and you'd just get beat up. And you go kind of 1, 2, 3, like within probably 3 games in 4 or 5 nights through California, and you're just beat
You'd have to go through like Getzlaff and Perry. You had to get through Kopitar and Brown. You had to get through Marlowe and Thornton, right? I mean, that was a rough road trip for anybody coming from from anywhere, frankly. But I also just want to call out one more thing that Peter St. John said, and I promise I won't poke too much fun at you. Is before all of these things here, he says he owes me an apology. Okay, so there it is. Paul, I owe you an apology. It seems we have a long way to get, but I never dreamed the Sharks could come together this fast. Peter, you do not owe me any apologies whatsoever. Nobody saw this coming, frankly. The only reason I sort of did is because I'm looking at the way that the roster was being built. And you even heard me say at the beginning of this season on this show, saying, I may have to take that back. And the reason for me saying I may have to take that back was because I figured with all the one-year contracts, we're shipping guys off. But frankly, if we don't ship guys off, I still feel confident that they would be a bubble team. Here we are. We've not shipped anybody off yet. Obviously, we think that there's a defenseman that's on the move.
Yeah.
But as the team sits right now, it's just a matter of time with the gelling. That process has occurred. We talked about defense being a big issue with them. And part of the reason that they're getting scored on so much is that the defensemen don't know each other yet. Well, they're starting to understand each other, and we can see that in a lot of the stats that we're going to be showing. Super producer Jason, very happy to be making so many graphics for tonight.
Keep telling myself there's got to be a reason why this keeps happening in a sense.
It happens because the people demand it. So, Aaron, let's kick off this ridiculously long about to be show. Yeah.
All right.
Take a deep breath. Here we
our
go.
last show was in October, so we're covering a lot of games. We're going all the way back to begin with is the Colorado game.
We're not going to go too deep into each of the games, but just kind of a high level.
Right. So this is a 3-2 overtime win. This was a huge win. I think this kind of kickstarted, the belief, right? Like the Sharks kind of like the believe sign. You don't even know what I'm talking about because you don't watch Ted Lasso. The believe sign where they all tap it up there, right? They believe, and this was a big one because beating Colorado, a top 5 team in the NHL, and even at the time that they played them, they were in the top 5. That was a huge win, and the Sharks came out on top in overtime, and that was who was it? Oh, Kirchev scored that one. So Celebrini scores on a beautiful snipe. And Blackwood was playing against his old team, which is kind of cool, right? Blackwood had just come off IR, and I think this was his first game back, actually. So Celebrini beats him kind of mid-range, which I'm going to get into a little bit later of where his goals are coming from. Beats him mid-range with just a wicked wrister over his glove side, I believe. Kirchev, another one. I think it was Dellandrea plays him in, just flips the puck in. Kirchev is going in with speed, gets kind of partial breakaway and snaps it over his glove side again. Do you think the MO is glove side on Blackwood? Because Kirchev, again in overtime, does almost the exact same spot and snipes it right in the corner over his glove side.
How do they know? How do they possibly know?
No idea, right? Just exposing Blackwood's absolutely weak left-hand glove save. So that was the beginning, I think. The ball was kind of rolling. I think that was... we talked about these games last show of the upcoming games who we think, and I was like, Colorado, not a chance, and I obviously am wrong. So they beat Colorado. Then it was, I believe, you have anything to say about Colorado?
I just want to. I mean, it's obviously I was wrong. That was what Aaron just said about Colorado. It's good to be wrong sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes on the show we make predictions and it's just all in fun. But it's good to be wrong sometimes on stuff like this.
I'll be glad to be wrong. In fact, Colorado's the number 1 team right now in the NHL. So they're still up there. They have 10 wins, 1 loss, and 5 overtime. How many shootouts? It's actually 3 overtime losses.
And if I may, somebody had made the comment, it's not just that they're winning. It's that we're beating these other teams.
Yes.
It was New Jersey. There it is right there. Nick W. Thank you, Nick. It's not just we are winning, it's the teams we're beating. New Jersey, Colorado, Florida, Winnipeg. These are high caliber teams. And as I've been hoping for the past season even, right? But now certainly with this season, I had a feeling as soon as we picked up Orlov, As soon as we picked up Orlov, I'm like, I got a feeling this team's going to be good, man.
I think the show before they signed Orlov, we did a show, and I was like, there's a list of guys, and I was like, if we got Orlov, I would feel so much better about this defense.
Yeah.
Because I think at the time, I can't remember exactly the timing, but I want to say they had signed Klingberg already, but I wanted that, more defensive defenseman that is solid, and Orlov was one of the ones that I had talked about, and I don't think we talked about it on the show. I think maybe we did. I could go back, but I'm lazy, so I probably won't. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, so let's move on from the Colorado game then. Okay, so Detroit, this one here, you said shootouts suck. Yes.
I hate shootouts.
I know.
They're the worst.
Honestly, even after watching today's game and it was a win, and all the times that we've gone to overtime and we've come out with a win,
right.
I'm tired of overtimes now. I'm really tired of it.
It's different. 3-on-3 is just not real hockey, kind of.
It's not even that it's not real hockey. I think there needs to be some non-hockey rules that get added, like a stupid shot clock. You know what I mean? I
wouldn't be surprised.
Be penalized if you deliberately leave the zone.
Right.
If you deliberately leave the offensive zone, you get some sort of penalty. You know what I mean? Something
stupid
stupid like that to make it watchable again.
Because
all they do is just take the puck and run away and come back in, or run away and come back in.
Yeah, they're trying.
And they have the long change, right? They have so we have to do long change to make it harder, so that way they actually score. No, it just makes it more boring. Put them on the same side as their bench, so guys can constantly change, and then they don't have that advantage of constantly looping back and doing this. It's dumb now. It's stupid.
You change the rules. It takes the coaches a couple years to figure out how to exploit them, right? That's what happened. So overtime used to be 4-on-4. Then they went to 3-on-3 because 4-on-4 was boring because they weren't trying. Nobody cared, right? So then they just went to the shootout. They'd rather go to the shootout. So nobody was really scoring. So then they went to 3-on-3 and it was like, ooh, this is exciting. And it was back and forth, just constantly attacking, trying to go for the win,
the first
right?
year or something.
Right,
like that, maybe,
and it was fun. It was there's some overtimes, the full 5 minutes, going back and forth with no goals, and then going to the shootout. That was more exciting than watching what we see now. So now it's keep possession. What Paul is saying, they have the long change. So if you keep possession in the neutral zone area, they can't get a change. So you're going to tire those guys out, and you just constantly attack, retreat, get fresh guys, and now you're attacking a very tired 3 guys on the ice. That's the strategy of almost every team at this point.
And we saw that against the Minnesota Wild the first time we went to overtime with them, and the Sharks didn't touch the puck, and we still ended up winning the game because Macklin's amazing. But, I mean, it was essentially 3-something minutes worth of just watching your team sitting in a zone, just watching them cycle around, and then wait for the other guys to not be tired anymore to bring them back on the ice. It's like, y'all ain't even trying to shoot the puck. You're just hanging on. That's all you're doing. It's dumb. Anyway, rant over. We go ahead and lose this game against Detroit in overtime. Not a whole lot to say here. If you want to go through, maybe we didn't have Eklund in this game. So
the reason I hate shootouts is the game itself was a good game. If they won that shootout, you'd be like, oh, they won. But now they lost the shootout, you're kind of like, oh, they lost. But the game itself is fun. That's why it's a skills competition. I just hate it. Eklund misses this game. This is the first game that he got injured and he missed. So he was missing from this game, and I think it was noticeable. Defensively, I think it was obviously defensively noticeable that he's out of the lineup. Skinner scores from Khrushchev. Dickinson gets his first NHL goal. This was a beautiful goal. I don't mind the shootout loss because they were losing the game and tied it up. If it was the other way around where they're winning and the other team tied it and then they lost the shootout, it's worse.
Stole a point instead of gave one up.
Exactly. Yeah. So Dickinson gets his first. This was from Smith. He finds it from behind the net, and Dickinson's in the slot, and he just buries it. And it was a great celebration all around. Not just Dickinson, but like everyone on the ice is excited for him, right? Like you get your first NHL goal. This is great. Khrushchev, anyway, at the end of this game, Khrushchev gets named third star of the week of the NHL. The week before that, Celebrini was first star of the week. Yeah. So that's back-to-back having a Shark in the stars of the week, which, again, not something we have seen in years.
Yeah,
right?
a long time.
Probably
Very
since
long time.
Carlson got it, I think, while he was going on his 100-point tear.
You know, maybe Macklin might have been a star of the week sometime last season when he was going on his tear too. Who knows? But it's still quite an accomplishment for this season at least to have him go back-to-back weeks being one of the top 3 players in the league. Yeah. Right? So fantastic job by Khrushchev this past week here. Yeah.
Do you think Chicago regrets not signing him?
I don't think it matters because he would have to play with that bum Bedard anyway. So, you know, honestly, I'm gonna say real quick. there's a lot of back and forth on X, Twitter, whatever it is, and
So
social
much.
media in general
So much.
about Bedard and Celebrini. And we're going to bring up something on Bedard and Celebrini a little bit later on in the show that's sort of relevant here. But we are just poking fun. It's okay, Chicago fans. Bedard's a very good player, okay? He's a fantastic offensive talent. Maybe he's not as good defensively as Celebrini is.
Trust me, it sucks.
He doesn't suck.
We're getting
He's
some,
fantastic, okay? Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying we have our guy. We love our guy. And when we put our guy up against your guy, we would rather have ours. That's all there is to it. That's it. So it's not that yours sucks, even though we kind of poke fun at you a little bit, but there's just a lot of back and forth, and I think Chicago fans are a little grumpy.
They commented on some of our reels.
On
as
ours?
well. Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's great.
Fantastic.
They're angry little trolls. Angry keyboard trolls make me laugh. Anyway, anything else on this game?
I don't think so. I think we're good. Yeah. All
right.
Keep it rolling here.
Going into Seattle on Wednesday, or on that, it was on Wednesday. The Sharks destroy Seattle. I haven't seen the Sharks destroy a team in a long time, and that was like, wow. Going into the third period, what was the score? Was it 3? I'll look this up real quick.
Yeah.
It was going into the third period was 3-1. Still had a chance, right?
Yeah.
Seattle still had a chance.
Yeah.
The Sharks did not take their foot off the gas, and it's something that we don't really see very often. I don't know what happened. I don't know why they did it in this game. It was great. They're probably feeling good after that Colorado win.
Yeah.
A little bummed about the Detroit loss. Going into Seattle, they knew they could take this team, and they absolutely took it. They scored, let's see who the goals were. Celebrini got one. Cardwell, Klingberg, Smith, Delandria, and Toffoli gets one.
Cardwell. Happy to see him put in a goal. You know, we don't talk about Ethan Cardwell very much on this show, and it's just because we're naive. Frankly, I don't like watch Ethan Cardwell all the time, so I don't have a good pulse on what he's doing at the AHL level and whatnot. But honestly, Ethan Cardwell, him coming in, he was impactful. He wasn't just soaking up some minutes for everybody else. He was impactful, and I don't even necessarily mean okay, he got a goal. He was impact. No, watch him play the game. The kid's buzzing. This is another one of these guys that you watch how he plays the game, and you're like, that right there is exactly what I want on this team. That's what Mike Greer wants on this team. These guys that are willing to be just running around everywhere and to put high amounts of pressure on guys. That's on defenders. When you've got a guy coming at you at 1,000 miles an hour, the last thing that you want to do is like throw the puck away, but that's what you're forced to do. You're forced to make a play immediately and quickly. It's the play that you have to make, not the play that you want to make.
Right.
And Ethan Cardwell gets on the horse, and he forces them to do that.
You think he's a replacement for Gaudreau once Gaudreau is off the
I
team.
mean, honestly, if there was a way to just make that switch now a permanent thing, it would be totally fine. Nothing against Barclay Goodrow, okay?
No.
Nothing against Barclay Goodrow. But I think it is time to move on from that kind of fourth line veteran there to do whatever kind of role.
Yes.
We have guys that, I know we're overcooking, but we have guys that can step in right now and get valuable NHL experience, and they won't feel overwhelmed. Ethan Cardwell is ready. He's ready. And frankly, if that's the type of role that he were to take on, I think he would do just as good of a job as Barclay Goodrow would do. And you're giving that guy the experience as opposed to letting a veteran play out his contract.
I still think he needs to work on a few things, basically to become a better penalty killer, which he could do at the lower levels before he gets called up full-time. Fun fact, 10 career games for Ethan Cardwell. The Seattle Kraken hate him. He has 2 goals in his career, both against the Kraken.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
And, you know, I know that you said before that you hate Seattle because they're ho-hum and they don't have any stars and they're boring, right?
So boring.
It must have been nice to be able to watch a Seattle game and not be bored because 6 goals went in here,
It was
right?
fantastic.
Good for you.
They
I'm
also
happy for you.
chased Joey Decord was playing this game. Again, last year we saw a lot of backup goalies. This year we're seeing a lot of starter goalies. And
We're still seeing backups.
Joey Decord though.
No, I mean Decord got
That's what I'm
pulled.
saying.
Yeah. So we're still seeing the backups.
We chased Decord. That was his first bad game in the NHL this season. He's been killing it for Seattle, and for whatever reason, the Sharks just absolutely destroyed him.
Amazing game by Mook and Delandria,
Yes.
for tonight. Absolutely, Mook. Man, that trade's looking better and better, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
That trade's looking better
It's
and
still
better.
going to get better because we have Musty
Musty's
coming up at
just
some
waiting
point,
in the
right?
wings. In fairness, Goodrow, Delaney are playing. Yeah, they absolutely are. They're playing better, 100%. I'm just saying, I would almost rather let the younger guy get the experience. especially with the feeling that he is ready. You're not putting him in where he's not ready and saying he's getting experience, but he's getting wrecked. I think he's ready, and I think he showed that in these past.
I don't think the team is ready to have another rookie player in the lineup.
Maybe not. But he stepped in, and I don't mean he was fine.
I'm not talking like on ice. I'm talking off ice. I think they need some of those voices in the room that are veterans to kind of help the room. And it's working.
Sure.
It is working, right? Way better than it was last year.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And Barclay Goodrow's on the team right now, so just stick with it. Leave it alone.
Peter St. John, this team definitely plays offense very well, and everyone in the league knows this. I agree. I think the secret on Celebrini is out. I don't think he is sneaky good anymore. I think the entire league respects and knows about him, right?
They're on notice.
Not just the players, the fans. I think other teams' fans are knowing, especially the Minnesota video. Love that video. For you don't know what we're talking about, there was a woman in Minnesota. This is the first game, not tonight's game, but the last time they played. And it was the overtime that we were talking about earlier. They were in the zone for 3.5 minutes or something. And she's recording a selfie of herself, video of trying to wait to celebrate, right? To get the crowd in the background. And what happens? Celebrini gets the puck and scores against them. And it's just like, she's excited and just went to, like it just bombed. Like at that point, the Sharks only had maybe 1 or 2 wins. Like, it wasn't much, right? And they were at the bottom or close to the bottom. So it was very disappointing. But that is like, that's a perfect meme for the rest of the league knowing about Celebrini.
But here's what I love, right? Because we saw before there was the game where Smith scored goals, Celebrini scored goals. They had like 9 points on of the 6 goals that were scored, whatever. Like it was like very much the young guys doing everything. In this game where they scored 6 goals, it's as you said, Celebrini, Cargill, Klingberg, Smith, Delandria, Toffoli. That's 6 names on 6 goals. Everybody's getting in on it.
Yep.
Right. Yep. It's not just one player that's leading the team entirely in terms of goal scoring and putting up numbers.
It wasn't all power play goals. It wasn't
exactly.
It was everything.
You look at a team like Edmonton that has like 1 or 2 gigantic names.
They're top heavy.
They're very top heavy. This team, they're getting it from everywhere now, right? And I think, as you said, even last show and the beginning of this one, it's contagious and it's infectious, and I think it's permeating through that entire locker room, and everybody feels that they can chip in. And again, I looked at like that, even that third line, right? When with like Colin Graff on it, I'm like, yeah, this guy, he's a goal scorer in college. He was a goal scorer,
right? And
they came in, they made him a penalty killer, and he could still score goals. Like it's a good, solid team. It's a good, solid team. So anyway, just want to point that out. There were 6 different names on 6 total goals. Moving on from the Seattle game, the Winnipeg game, 2-1 win. Anything here you want to in particular? But
just Celebrini getting the breakaway goal against Hellebuck, who is the number 1 goalie in the league. He is probably, I think, head and shoulders above everyone else in the league. Yeah. He's just top of his game. He gets a breakaway, and not just like a lucky goal. It was he dusted him, and he left his jockstrap in the goal. He put a move on him, and with his speed, he just put him in and put it to the side of him. And it was great. It's going to be one of those goals that they show on commercials for the NHL, right? It's a highlight reel goal. 2 top players against each other.
I was going to say, it's not even just the goal itself. Right. It's the names involved in the goal.
Yes.
So they're definitely going to put that one up.
Yes.
For sure.
So he is now what they call in the basketball term, you're on the poster. So you are on the poster for a Celebrini goal.
Posterized, yeah.
Posterized, yeah. Smith gets a tap in for the winner, and this was him in the crease fighting for the puck. It was kind of a scramble in front, and Celebrini, I think, almost scored. And the puck, like, if you look, Hellebuck makes an incredible save on this. And he is just about to get his hand on the puck on the line and stop it. And Smith is right there to smack it in. Like, it was so close to being, I don't know, used to what normally happens to the Sharks, right? Like, oh, we were so close. We almost scored that. Smith, why didn't you get your stick in there close enough? He did it. He did it, and he scored. And the Sharks ended up, that was the winner for the Sharks.
And it's funny that we said that Smith gets a tap-in goal. Hold on to that phrase, because we're going to keep rolling and remember that phrase, Smith with the tap-in goal. And that Celebrini was a part of it as well, right? Anything else? You said game, no. Was there anything else on the Winnipeg game?
No.
Again, we're trying to roll through these as quick as we can. Right. We got a lot of stuff. So we're done with the Winnipeg game?
Yeah, the Winnipeg game.
2-1 win, fantastic.
Yes, Winnipeg is a good team.
Yes.
And, in fact, real quick, they are where in the standings? They are, I have to scroll up to the top here.
13th.
13th. Oh, they're behind the Sharks right now.
How about that?
but they got 2 games in hand, so percentage-wise, they're ahead of us.
Whatever.
Go ahead. Next game?
Next game. Okay, so looking at the Florida Panthers, surely we lose this game. The defending Stanley Cup champions.
I'm not so sold, only because Barkov is out for the season.
And Tkachuk is out for a while.
Tkachuk is still, he's not back yet. He probably another month away at least,
yeah.
I think. So with those 2 guys, I don't think the Sharks really have a chance. In fact, in this game, I think the Sharks got lucky and stole this game. Florida outplayed them, out-hustled them, out-muscled them, outdid everything except score. So those kinds of games, if the Sharks are going to a 7-game series, that's one steal that they get, and they're getting the rest swept. Florida's most likely going to beat those games. So that's just hockey. Sometimes you win even though you get outplayed, and I think that's how the Sharks just got lucky in this game.
Having said that, if we were to meet Florida in the playoffs, that would be okay because that would mean it was a Stanley Cup final.
Correct.
So I would be happy with that. Regardless, goals here, of course, we keep bringing the same name up. Celebrini is just on a tear. The guy just can't stop putting the puck in the net. He can't stop getting points.
Great.
Can't stop, won't stop, love it. And then, I'm going to say it, oh my Gaudette gets on the board. Love this guy. He's a hard worker. I love it. There's a lot of guys on this team that I just love because of the hard work, man.
Yes.
There's something about that for me. You know, even if you're not putting the points up, if you're one of those guys that is willing to run around and drive bodies through people, steal pucks, take hits to make plays, block shots, if you're that type of player, dude, you're okay with me. You know what I mean? So, again, Gaudette here doing a fantastic job, and then Wenberg getting on the board. You like to see Wenberg getting rewarded for his play. I don't think the guy gets enough in terms of points gathering to really display how good the guy is. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So good to see him get on the board here.
He does a lot kind of off the like defensively.
Winning face-offs,
yes.
It's huge. They're starting him now for the overtimes, right?
He is a fantastic second-line center. This, if you remember, this should have been Logan Couture, right? Yeah. Second-line center. They brought in Wenberg a year ago because they knew Couture was not going to play anymore. And it's a fantastic ad, a good... I mean, obviously we miss Couture. Couture would be lights out right now on this team. This team would be even better if Couture was healthy and in the lineup.
Yeah.
That would be like adding like a Tavares to your team right now. Like older, but second line. He's going to command that second unit and defensively very responsible. So anyway, going back to Wenberg, fantastic ad. I hope the Sharks could even re-sign him maybe another year after this because his contract is up after this season. I wouldn't be surprised if another team tries to pry him away though, because he is that good. And I mean, we'll get into that later if the Sharks are even in that position of a playoff spot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we certainly have a 2C waiting in the wings, and losing a guy wouldn't be the worst thing for our 50 contract. Right. Yeah. So
Askarov stealing this game, absolutely. 39 shots on goal by Florida, so 38 saves. We're going to talk about Askarov in a few more minutes.
Goaltending in general.
Yes. Yeah. But he absolutely stole this game. The Sharks had I don't want to say they had no reason to win this game, but they had a lot of reasons to lose this game, and they did not. So going back to what we said a month ago, good teams find ways to win, bad teams find ways to lose. I'm not saying Florida's a bad team, but the Sharks are finding ways to win. They're becoming a good team.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. So happy with the Florida win, 3-1. Moving on to tonight's game. You just got done watching it, I'm sure. A 2-1 overtime win. Again, I'm over overtimes. I'm honestly, it's almost boring to me now because there isn't that back and forth. I think there needs to be something added to it. Some stupid, artificial, not hockey rule to make it fun to watch again. And honestly, I would hate it because if they put a shot clock in there, that's not hockey.
No.
Right? It's not hockey. No. So it
but
would be strange.
But is 3-on-3 hockey?
Is 3-on-3 hockey?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is, but...
Ooh, I want to get rid of the shootout.
Yeah, I know. There's got to be something better. Come on, NHL, do better. Find something, anything. You know what I mean? Make it cross rink even, Pee Wee hockey style. Get the all the way across the rink instead. Yeah, just do that instead.
That's terrible.
It's horrible.
Get on with it.
Oh, fine.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Get on with it.
Yes. Get on with it.
Like I said, I hate it. So there it is.
Get on with it.
And so we will get on with it. The Minnesota game, TJ Oshie in the first intermission, as I said, was gushing over Macklin Celebrini.
Yes.
And all the stuff that he does so incredibly well. And on the puck, off the puck, doesn't matter. The guy's dragging his team along with them. And again, to hear TJ Oshie saying those things about very young talent is good as a Sharks fan to hear. Just how good he actually is in the eyes of other NHL players, past and present, essentially, right? So just wanted to make that. Now, remember that phrase, Smith taps it in. In this game, we got one from on the power play, Will Smith taps it in. Now, if you watch this goal.
So speaking of highlight reel goals,
yes,
right?
This is why I say you have to watch the play. And it's not because it's Smith, okay, but you have to watch the play. He gets the goal. Fantastic. Dude, Macklin carries the puck across the line, leaves it for Eklund, continues skating his path. Eklund finds Toffoli in the middle, and then Toffoli finds, not like a one-touch, but a very quick pass over to Macklin, who then one-touch passes it, bang right over to Smith, who just basically has to put his stick out and tap it in. Good for him for putting it in. Fantastic. Now, watch the goaltender on that play. The goaltender's swimming.
Yeah.
Because the puck goes he's coming across. Okay, stops at the wall, goes to Toffoli, goes to Macklin, and then he's making a desperation save, as you said, to Macklin. Yeah. And the puck ain't over there. The puck's over here.
He was expecting Macklin to shoot that.
Yes.
And so he did a desperation save to cover as much goal as he could, and that put him, he kind of slid out of position a little bit out of the goal to come and attack Macklin. But as soon as he started sliding, Macklin had already sent it across to Will Smith, wide open. He tried to, desperation save back, but he was so late. It wasn't even close.
Yeah. He needs some floaties.
Also, fun fact, the last time the Sharks played Minnesota, it was against, was it Wallstedt?
Wallstedt, yeah.
Yeah, their backup, kind of their up-and-coming Askarov, right? This was a goalie that a lot of fans, Sharks fans, wanted the Sharks to draft way back, what was that, 4 years ago? And they opted not to. Instead, they went, obviously they didn't draft him. Right. So, I think this guy kind of sticks in a lot of Sharks fans' minds because he should have been a Shark kind of thing. And he's going to be a good goalie, but he was up and coming. Sharks beat them. Now they play Gustafsson, who has been awesome for Minnesota. Maybe not quite as late, but he's still better than Wallstedt. He's going to be a good goalie, or still is a good goalie. Their number one goalie. Wallstedt is not the number one. Gustafsson is. And it's telling that they played him this time because they're probably pissed that they lost to the Sharks, first time around in that overtime. So here we go again. 2 overtime losses to the Sharks. I think Minnesota fans are really going to hate the San Jose Sharks.
And still at the hands of Macklin Celebrini. Because even though Graf puts this goal in, now this one, Graf actually, the pass came from Celebrini, who had been on the ice for 2 minutes, by the way. He was tired. Yeah. But Dickinson finds him. He's like, all right, fine, I'll go help score a goal. So he takes the puck up the wall, right? And it's 2-on-2. Here's the thing. Good on Colin Graf getting on the inside of the defender, going to the net. A lot of times they make this mistake where they'll go to the outside of the defender and hope for that shot off the pads or whatever, but the defender's in the way now. Instead, he gets on the inside of the defender, right, and is driving the net. Macklin makes a pass, just threads it right between the defender's skates. I mean, right, nutmeg, right? Puts it right between his legs, right to where Colin Graf is. Now, Graf gets it on his stick blade, just kind of stops the puck, bumps it over to the side, and then knocks it backhand into the net. And again, poor goaltender is kind of like, thinks that puck is going to get tipped on, drops, and then it goes over to the side. Oh, let's stretch out, walks around my pad, and puts it in. So, good wherewithal and smarts by Colin Graf, a guy, again, who on this team is more of the penalty-killing defensive but can chip in. Again,
glad to see him in overtime, right?
Getting absolutely.
The chance. Yeah.
And we talked about this too. When the game's on the line, the guys that you want on the rink are going to be guys like Colin Graf, and we said Eklund as well. This is off screen for you guys. But these are the types of guys that are reliable, right? It's not just they have the ability to score, but gosh, I don't know if they're going to do well defensively. These are guys that are reliable on both sides of the puck.
Yes.
And Colin Graf fits that bill. Happy to see him hop the boards after Will Smith jumped off because Macklin was still on. Happy to see him jump on and get rewarded for it. But again, a great play by Macklin, carrying the puck down the wall and threading it between some skates before Colin Graf makes that beautiful play.
Speaking of Celebrini, we have a graphic here.
Yes.
First of many for tonight. This is Macklin Celebrini, and this is not including tonight, so that's already, he's got 2 more assists, so he's got 10 goals, 16 assists, and 26 points. But where he ranks in the NHL, this is cool. I'm sorry for the podcast people who are just listening, but this is coming from the NHL Edge. This is something you can just go to NHL Edge and type in a player's name, and you can see all this stuff for yourself. He has a hardest shot of 93.57 miles an hour. It's in the 98th percentile. His max skating speed has only registered 21.84 miles an hour, which is under, less than half of. He's not the fastest skater. He doesn't need to be.
Right.
But total skating distance, though, he's in the 99th percentile, 56.18 miles. That's pretty cool. Now, this is where I think the bottom left corner here, the shots on goal zone map, this is where he is shooting. He's shooting in high danger. He's got 13 shots in the high danger zone. Mid-level, this is where he's kind of his bread and butter, right? This is where he's getting a lot of his goals. We talked about this earlier when he had that snapshot over Blackwood's glove. He shot it in that where the 11 is. That's where he snapped it. Kind of, was it high slot area? Is that what you call that?
Yeah,
it's not high danger,
slot.
but it's high slot.
Yeah.
And he loves to get in that area with the puck and rips it. And his wrist shot is wicked good. Now, the zone time over here, zone time I'll get into in a little bit on the team. But his shot locations, he is above average on every single thing here. Even the long range ones, he's ripping them from right in the middle. But look, it's all in the middle.
Yeah.
It's all in the middle. He's not really doing any perimeter. He's not a perimeter player. He is in the middle of everything, and it's rewarding because he is now second in the lead behind Sholl second behind Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah.
But he got 2 assists tonight, so he is on fire, man. Again,
Absolutely.
the league is on notice.
Yeah.
He's going to be up there.
And you look at those all those shots in that middle area, whether it's high danger in the center or it's at mid range in the center, right? A lot of it's coming right up the gut. As you said, he's not really on the perimeter much, right? And there was a couple of replays that they actually showed. It was on one of the ESPN or whatever it was that they had, and it's him going towards the net. And as soon as the defender looks away to see where the puck is, and then looks back to him, he's already shifted and cut, instead of going behind him, cut in front of him again. And then when he gets this puck, and he's cutting right through that middle, that high slot area, and he doesn't really dust it off. He just kind of grabs it and fires, right? And she just picks it up and rips it. Another one that they were showing was him gathering the puck on his, so he's lefty. So he was gathering the puck. The pass is coming from his right. And the way that you normally would receive this puck is you would pick it up, pull it back, and then fire. As a lefty, this feels really weird because I'm right-handed. So if I look stupid, I'm sorry. It's like throwing a ball up-handed. Anyway, so like he picks it up on his forehand, and instead of like pulling it back and loading before he fires it, he's just kind of like overskating the puck, letting it hit his stick, and like letting the puck stop as he overskates it. And when he overskates it, the puck is now behind him. He's already loaded. So for a guy, instead of it coming, like if I'm right-handed, I'm tired of doing left-handed stuff. If I'm right-handed, that puck comes right here. As soon as I see it, I just slap it and it's in, right? That's fine. But on a pass coming this way, I would have to grab it, pull it back, and then fire. For him, he's just tapping it, kind of stopping the puck and overskating it. So when he goes to grab it, he's already loaded. And that's why he's getting those shots off so fast basically on the wrong side when he's receiving a puck.
Yeah.
Because he's doing it that way. And it comes off so quickly. Goaltenders don't really have that time and space. And the funny thing is, you look at all those mid-range shots, those kind of, they're farther back. The one against Blackwood.
Yes.
Blackwood was not screened.
Right.
Blackwood saw this coming.
It was a clean shot.
All he did was step from his left to his right, face the shot. But it came so fast. And they were talking about how his legs are planted, he's loaded, everything. But he's a triple threat. You don't know if he's, like in basketball, you don't know if he's going to skate the puck, if he's going to pass that puck, or if he's going to shoot that puck, because he's planted, loaded. He's ready to go. So Blackwood comes across to make this save, and it's too late, because the puck's already off his stick, and it's in the back of the net. So it's just interesting to see them break down the mechanics of it all, right? And you see him going right through that middle area a lot. He doesn't want to go on the outside. He's going to come right for you every single time. And it's working for him. So, yeah awesome.
Cool. All right,
Anyway.
let's go into our roll call. Tell us what city you're watching us from. And I hate to do this, but is this stretch of play a fluke, or are the Sharks actually back? So again, tell us what city you're watching us from, and do you think this is a fluke, or are the Sharks actually back?
You said earlier talking about sustainability. So why don't you go ahead and run with that?
Sure. Well, first
Unless
we're
I
going to
put
talk.
you on the spot just now.
Yeah, we're going to go into something else. We're going to go into the goalie stats first.
Okay.
So there's kind of a tale of two goalies.
Sure.
Right? Two halves, really. Half of the season, the first half of the season, the goalies weren't doing great. They weren't terrible, but they were terrible.
And we have an image showing kind of that later on, but for now, you want to talk about the last 5.
So this is the last 5 games. Obviously, it's not including tonight because we had to get these graphics ready before the game. So this is the Sharks goalies for the last 5 games minus tonight. So
Prior to tonight, yes.
Prior to tonight. So save percentage. The NHL average is about 90%. Nedeljkovic and Askarov are just killing it right now. Goals against average. Askarov was getting destroyed in this because he had a couple of those games that were 7 goals, 6 goals against. So his goals against average right now is not good. But in those last 5 games, look at that. The average is, what is that, about 3-ish, maybe a little under 3, and they are barely over 1.
Yeah.
They're doing a great job. High danger save percentage. I love this stat. I think this is a telling stat for, it kind of gives the cream of the crop of goalies for me, of who's better and who's not. Nedeljkovic has been better than Askarov, and not knocking on Askarov. Nedeljkovic is a veteran, and he's just with it a little bit more, I think. So he is his high danger save percentage. Obviously, it's 100%.
And I'll be honest with you, looking at that high danger chart right there, that I thought would be flipped.
Yeah,
because Askarov has let in some ones that are not high danger, but generally, when we talked about this last show, generally when he's sprawling. And it's one of those where it's a desperation save. Those are kind of more in the high danger areas, and he doesn't really let those in. So to see Nedeljkovic at 100% and Askarov, even if it's higher than average, seeing Askarov not, I would have thought those had been flipped.
Right.
Yeah.
The last one there was goals saved against above average. So this stat, for those that don't quite understand this, there's expected goals. We'll kind of talk about this a little bit later, but kind of think about it like, if Askarov makes an amazing save that should have been a goal and he robbed him, there's a stat for that. It's called expected goals. That was supposed to be an expected goal. When a goalie saves above the expected, this is where, again, cream of the crop, you're seeing goalies that they could be on bad teams. These teams could be giving up so many chances, and the goalie is just playing out of their mind. But they're going to have a 5 goals against average and an 80 save percentage, but their goal saved above average could be astronomical. They could be on the positive side. So Nedeljkovic is a little bit lower here. I mean, not by much, but Askarov is above, and that's great because Askarov was below, I think, in the first half of the season by like 2 or 3, maybe even 4 expected goals against. More goals scored against than it was expected.
Right.
If that makes sense. You want to be on the positive side, not on the negative side. And he's been on the negative side up until recently.
So, and I added a graphic, and we'll get to this graphic in just a second, but my graphic was actually for the last 6 because that was the stretch of points, right?
Yes.
Getting points in the last 6 games. Again, prior to tonight's game, it was a stretch of 6, and I wondered, why did Aaron pick the last 5?
Well, I went to November 1st.
Right.
I was just doing
this isn't the graphic, but sorry. So I was wondering, why did Aaron go to the last 5, not the last 6? And I was like, okay, maybe it's because on that 6th game, it was Nedeljkovic getting a win, and he didn't want to add those stats.
No.
It turns out, even in that game, he let in 2 goals and a save percentage, so it would have been worse. So anyway, so the one that I pulled up here was goals against in the last 6 games. That's the graphic that we're looking for, super producer Jason. Goals against in the last 6 games.
Fuming right now.
I'm sure he is. You got it or no? You want to skip it? Nope, that's not it. It's okay. Don't worry about it. That's not it. Nope, keep going. Yep, nope. It's none of these, dude. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
What?
It's none of those. It's okay. It's the one that's from StatMuse. Do you have the one from StatMuse? It's called Goals Against the Last 6? No? Don't worry about it. It's okay. We'll move on. Don't worry. So anyway, let's go ahead and we'll talk about the Sharks' goaltending turnaround then, okay? We'll just pass that one up altogether.
Right.
So there was this graphic here. You can put it up on the screen. It was the one that had Askarov's face on it, if you want to throw that up there again.
Which one?
The one that had Askarov's face on it. Yeah, there you go. That's the one. Okay, so I just thought this was really interesting, right? So you've got, in the first 10 games, you said a tale of 2 goalies or 2, right? This is for all of Sharks goaltending. First 10 games, 2-6-2. Not very good. Last 6 games, 5-0-1 though. Again, not including tonight. It's actually 6-0-1 then, right? So looking at the goals against, 4.41 in those first 10 games, gross. And then the last 6, a mere 1.47.
That's incredible.
Absolutely. And then the save percentage, same thing.
Yeah.
A whole, so 0.857 to in the first 10 games. The last 6, 0.961. I mean, it's ridiculous, the turnaround. It really is. And it is a tale of 2, well, not say 2 goalies, but 2
teams.
Two teams.
Yeah.
It's still two teams. We talk about this too.
Yes.
It's goalie stats are kind of like, how is the team doing, right? Is the team letting the goalie down? And his numbers are going to be bad.
I think the defensemen are getting a little more solidified. The pairings are being solidified. They're getting to know each other, but they're also getting to know the goalies. I mean, you have Orlov, Klingberg, Leddy, Dickinson, even Mook Madulin. They did not play with these guys.
Yeah.
Mook Madulin maybe a little bit with Askarov because he was at the Barracuda last year with them for more games, but still, a lot of these guys have never played with Nedeljkovic, and barely any have played with Askarov.
Yeah.
So they get to know each other, and both those goalies love to play the puck with their stick, which helps the defenseman, but you have to have good communication for them to actually work it out. Otherwise, you're going to see what happened in the beginning, right?
Right.
One of the goalies goes back to play the puck, and then the defenseman stops, and they're right there next to each other, and then the other team comes in and steals the puck.
Were you going to take this?
Right.
Or,
yeah. So we're seeing that kind of get worked out, and for the better. Obviously, it's showing, and it's working. Not to mention, I don't think we put this in our notes, I think the Sharks have one of, if not the best, goaltending coach in Spear. He does absolute wonders. Granted, he has two very world-class goalies in Nedeljkovic and Askarov, so it's kind of easy. He's not molding, clay with oh my gosh, Vanacek and Georgiev, right? Trying to make something work out of the crap that they got in the dumpster. Go ahead.
No, you found the graphic? Okay, so let's go back to the other graphic. This is the last 6. There it is. Okay, and I apologize for that. I was trying to highlight it, and it came out all goofy. But in the last 6 games, again, not even including tonight, Sharks have allowed the fewest goals by a team in their last 6 games this season with only 9 allowed. Look at that, 9. The next in line was the Islanders at 13.
I did not see this coming from the San Jose Sharks.
And looking at, here's the other thing. Look at the PK.
Yes.
90% on the penalty kill.
Well,
you want to talk about a team that's figured it out defensively, right?
Yes.
But then look at the power play is the other thing. 6.3% those last 6 games. Again, we got one tonight, yay. But the power play has been atrocious as of recent.
Yeah.
But they're winning. So they don't need the power play.
5-on-5, I think, was the problem. Offensively, 5-on-5 was the problem. Defensively, I think they just were defensively terrible. And
but again, so the 5-on-5, they're getting their scoring there. But they're not allowing power play goals against.
Yes.
The PK is fantastic. Yeah. So what does that mean to me? What that means to me is, again, defensively, this team is figuring itself out.
Yes.
And that was the big knock on the Sharks, right? We don't have a big blue chip defensive prospect. Oh my God, our defense is terrible. Oh my God, our goaltending. Yeah, we can score goals, but we can't keep the puck out of the net. Look at the goal differential for the last 2 seasons, right? Yep. It got better, but it was still atrocious. Now, we take a look. These guys, especially we looked at the last 5-6 games or whatever it was, you can see the difference. The defenders, you talked about knowing the goalies. I'm talking about knowing each other. Right. These guys haven't been paired together for the longest time.
Or
right?
ever.
Or ever.
Yeah.
So now they're starting to understand each other a little bit better. Yes, they're starting to understand their goaltender as well.
It's the chemistry.
But yes, the chemistry is
right?
coming. And it's coming not just in the forward lines. It's coming on the defensive end. And the guys that are playing at forward are also being more defensively responsible. We go up and down that lineup, and you'll see guys, Macklin Celebrini, Alex Wenberg, Colin Graff. These guys are good defensive players that can also chip in, and they're all on different lines. So you always have somebody out there who's defensively responsible, and 2 of them at least happen to be centers. So it helps a lot. And I think, again, that was part of the reason that I'm looking at this season going, it's not out of the question. We could be a bubble team, and here we are finding ourselves in 8th place.
They're putting Mike Grier in a position to do something.
To make a decision.
Right? It's going to be decision time. Yeah. I mean, we're still kind of early, but we're going to get into this in a little bit when we go to the standings. There are other teams, usually Thanksgiving time, which is coming up in, 2 weeks from now? Thanksgiving time is kind of where a lot of teams look at where they are in the standings, who they have on the roster. Realistically, are they going to be making a playoff push if they're really far out of it or not, and if they're going to start to do a rebuild. So we might see some movement around Thanksgiving time, early December time.
You know what?
Go ahead.
Anthony's got that quote up there. NHL experts are saying, look out when Sharks learn to defend. We talked about that quote as well. It was
somebody on ESPN.
Please, God, don't let the Sharks learn how to defend.
I think it was Butchie Gross.
I think they learned how to defend.
Yeah.
I think they have.
They're going to be... And don't forget, who's not in the lineup right now? The number 2 overall
Michael
pick.
Misa.
Yeah.
Who's also known for his defensive game.
Right. Yeah. He doesn't make the team worse being in the lineup. He's only going to make them better.
Yeah.
Dickinson's been a big surprise for me. I think
fantastic.
Not that I didn't think he was going to be good. I didn't think he would be so quick to turn around mistakes and not make them again. He is incredibly fast learner. He is really doesn't make the same mistake that often. Doesn't make it twice. He's really learning and being a part of this team. And now he got that letter last week that permanent housing. Like you no longer have to live in a hotel. You are allowed to get permanent housing, and that means I didn't realize like the whole meaning of all that. That means basically they could still send him to the OHL. But if he got, let's say he's renting an apartment, right, in San Jose, if he goes to the OHL and moves away, the San Jose Sharks are responsible for paying his rent. Like, that is what it means.
Oh, wow.
If he buys a house, the Sharks would have to make the payments on the house if he was gone and was sent to the OHL. Like, that's what that means. Like, I think it's an NHLPA thing.
He'd have to pay them back in the next contract and take a nice little,
yeah. But that's another thing. They're not going to send him to the OHL.
Yeah, of course.
But that's just... it's a nice guarantee and it's a good payoff for all the hard work that he's put in to make this team. That was his goal, was to make the team and be an NHL regular, and now he is.
And I'm really glad that, again, we talked about the Will Smith treatment, right? Being patient with him and letting him kind of learn the ropes a little bit. The development, a lot of development doesn't happen in the game. A lot of development happens when you're playing against NHL players in your practices, right? So a lot of that development happens there, and it was a matter of time for Sam Dickinson to kind of get himself up to speed. So, yes, he's been a bit of a surprise, but a welcomed one, and very happy to see his growth, as well as the growth of Shakir Mukhamadullin. I was really concerned because of the injury stuff and everything, but, man, when he's in that lineup.
Solid, right?
Geez.
Him and Orlov, those two. If those two miss time, the Sharks' defense looks bad.
Yeah, it does.
Really bad. I think Mukhamadullin has really come into his own. I think he's a fantastic defensive defenseman, but two-way defenseman, because he can move the puck. He doesn't have stone hands, right? Like, he can make passes, he can make the breakout pass, he can skate, but his long reach on defense, man, he stops a lot of stuff coming into the zone. He really shuts down a lot of offensive players coming in.
I mean, the mark of him being a two-way defender, he charged the net tonight. Yeah. He's went offensively. He carried the puck across the blue line and went straight to the net. And I'm like, okay, he's feeling comfortable. Yeah. All right, good for him, you know? So, anyway, I'm happy with those two guys, and I'm very much looking forward to the rest of the season and seeing how much farther they can grow. Because I think if Sam Dickinson got this far this fast, it bodes well for the rest of the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, did you want to answer that question, or did you want to move on to the team stats? Is team stats part of you answering the question?
This is going to be part of the question.
Okay, so then let's jump into the team stats.
All right, we're going to get into the team stats. Now, the question back to the roll call was, do you think this is sustainable?
Well, do you think it's a fluke?
Do you think it's a fluke? Yeah. Sorry. I'm going to ask, do you think it's sustainable?
Right.
I'm going to say the metrics are going to say no. If you look at these team stats, so we're going to get through these right now. These are, first we're going to do the goals by location. This is just kind of cool because you can see where they're scoring their goals. 24 in the high danger area. Yeah. The average is 20. They have 24. They have 29. They have 29. It says over there. I guess high dangers. Oh, it's including the very closest one. That's
the 5 that's there. Yeah.
So they have 29 high danger goals. The average is 24. Mid range, I think this is their bread and butter right here. 19. Average is 15. Long range, the defensemen are not shooting the puck. That is just not their play style.
Yeah.
The defensemen aren't shooting and scoring from the blue line. They're not getting goals from there. They're getting goals from what's funny is, see where the 6 is.
Yeah.
A lot of that is on the power play, cross-ice passes, looking for either Will Smith to Foley, all the right-handed shots.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? The other right-handed guy? Klingberg, I guess. He doesn't swing around over there. I thought there was another forward that was a righty. Graf, maybe?
Sure.
They're just trying to hit that cross-ice one-timer, and they're getting them. So, all the righties over there. Now, if you remember a couple years ago, the Sharks had almost 0 right-handed forwards.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what you need for that cross-ice pass for the one-timers. The Ovechkin.
Yeah.
The Ovechkin office. That's where all those are. Anyway, I just thought that was cool. Let's see the shot percentage by location. This is more important, I think, than the goals. The shot percentage, to me, the Sharks are shooting at a high percentage. They're number 3 in the league.
Yeah.
They're almost leading the league in their shot percentage. That obviously will come down to more of the mean and the average. So 10.9 is the average. They're at 13.3. High danger, they're at 22.5. The average is 19. That'll come down a little bit. Mid-range, this is where I'm worried about. Where their bread and butter is, it's 12.1, and they're shooting at 16.1. I think that's going to come down a little bit. I don't think the long range is going to go up because that's just not their game.
Yeah.
So my point is I think we're going to see a little bit less goal scoring, and that's where I think we're going to start to see a little bit of the market correction, if you will, on the Sharks. And I'm not knocking them. I love the Sharks, and I want to see them keep doing this up, keep keeping this up, but some of these metrics are just not there. Now, this is the more important one, I think. This is the zone time and shot differential. Sorry, Jason, I'm skipping over one. This is what freaks me out right here, the zone time.
Yeah.
They're spending the most time in their defensive zone, the least amount of time in the offensive zone. The shot attempt differential, it's not a fun game to play when you're getting outshot every night. You have to bust your butt every night. Your goalie has to come up with big saves. To me, this is what screams not sustainable. They need better zone time in the offensive zone. They need to get the puck out of the defensive zone. They need to have outshoot teams. You don't see it very often when the Sharks are outshooting the teams. They're almost every night getting outshot, and this is showing that. This, to me, is where this screams market correction for the Sharks, and it scares me. Go ahead.
The only thing I'm going to say that would kind of dispute that is we've played a lot of ridiculously good teams. We haven't played too many bottom feeders.
I mean,
so
compared to last year, everyone is a better team than the Sharks, right?
Sure, absolutely. But we're playing something like Winnipeg and Colorado. We're playing very good teams. So if that's as bad as it gets, then you would think that actually we would be trending in the other direction when we're playing other teams that are kind of more our speed, if you will.
These stats are also the whole season, not just the last 5, not the winning streak.
Right, so far the whole season.
This was everything.
So I wonder now. I wonder if we did the exact same thing, but we'd only done the last, call it 6, because again, that's kind of when that point streak began, right? Over those games of our point streak, have those numbers improved? Are we still spending a lot of time in the defensive zone, not enough time in the offensive zone? Because I wonder, if we're not spending much time in the offensive zone, but we're scoring like crazy, that just means we're not wasting time.
Right, we're scoring.
Right.
We're being efficient.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. The shot percentage is high, so that takes away some of the zone time.
Yeah.
But my point is that shot percentage is most likely going to come down at some point. Yeah. Right? And that's where you're going to see the regression, and that's where you're going to see a little bit less goal scoring.
And again, though, it could come down, but if we're constantly playing these really good teams, and that's what it looks like right now, when we're playing against other teams that can't defend quite as well, and we're playing against teams that don't have goaltending of that caliber, Connor Hellebuck. I mean, we beat Connor Hellebuck. We beat Mackenzie Blackwood, right? We're beating teams with good goalies. When we play teams that don't have good goaltending, those numbers might even go up. So you say no, or you say that the numbers suggest no. I'm going to say that it is sustainable. Whether or not it will be sustained, I don't know. But is it sustainable? I think it is. I honestly think it is. I think we're already playing some of the cream of the crop teams. And everybody that we play beyond them is obviously going to be a little bit lower. And if we could just kind of do the same thing that we're doing, then the numbers should be better, right? So that's kind of my take on it.
Sure.
But anyway, is it sustainable? I say yes.
I say no.
Will it be sustainable? That's up in the air.
It's also not even mid-November. It's still early. People are, excited about playoffs, but pump the brakes a little. I'm just saying pump the brakes a little bit.
Absolutely.
Wait for the aggression. Now, I had said in the beginning of the season, bottom 10 in the league.
Yes.
That's kind of where they are. But if you look, I think there's way more parity this year in the league than there has been in the last 2-3 years. You've seen in the last 2-3 years 1 or 2 teams that are at the very top, miles ahead of everybody already. Yeah. Then you got the opposite ends, right, of the Sharks and Chicago being way behind everyone. Now everyone's really close. I mean, if you take out Calgary's kind of the outlier. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to get into this right now. Calgary's the outlier in the standings because they are really bad. They have 10 points, right? The next couple teams have 14, also bad, 15. Then it goes 17. If you look at 17 points is Vancouver Canucks, 27th overall.
Yeah.
Just
5 points away.
8 points away from top team.
Yeah.
Like it's under 10 points. It's not that much. Mm-hmm. That's a winning streak. What the Sharks are doing right now, away from going to the top.
Yeah.
So everything is a lot closer and crunched together than it has been in the last couple of years. So I think that's why I still think the Sharks could end up. They could end up either, but I still think bottom 10. I'm still going to stick with what I said.
I feel like the amount of parity, and again, we're not even at Thanksgiving yet, but I feel like that amount of parity might be indicative of the changing of the tides. You have these teams that are really good, you have these teams that are really bad, but their farm system is coming up and starting to work. The middling guys are still middling, and the guys at the top, maybe they ran into some cap trouble and they had to make some changes, and now they're pulling back. So you can see both sides starting to pull back into the middle.
Or like Florida, where they've played so much hockey
and
late.
you got injuries and everything else,
it just
right?
piles up.
Yeah. So that's where those two ends are starting to pull themselves back towards the middle, and you're going to start seeing, if the Sharks in a couple of years, you might see the Sharks kind of at that end where they're really, really good, and the teams that were really good but they're stuck in cap hell are now way at the bottom. Hi, we've been there before. So you might start seeing that where the point spread like expands and contracts, and right now I think we're in that section, that part where the whole league is kind of contracting in terms of points because everybody is getting a little bit better on the bottom end and maybe getting a little bit worse on the top end, right?
Yep.
So it's just kind of what I think you're going to end up seeing. You might be right. You might start seeing these kind of pulling back in. We saw, there were predictions about how many points the Sharks were going to have.
Right.
And I'm like, it was like 68 points.
60, wasn't it?
Like 68 points in last place? There's no way. It's going to be like 50-something, and lo and behold, of course, the Sharks were there and 50-something points, whatever it was. I'm like, there's no way 60-something is going to be last in the league. So I think that's what it's doing. You're going to see that contraction. 68 points might be last in the league. Maybe if you take the Calgary outlier out, right?
Right.
But beyond them, I think you might see that contraction a little bit. Anyway.
There's a lot of questions going on, and I have to ask it. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh.
Were you wearing your Noah Gregor jersey during the Florida game?
I was not.
Because he was playing in that game.
I know. We finally figured it out. He plays for Florida.
Yes.
How about that? I heard Gregor on
many
the
comments
podcast.
asking about if you were watching.
Wait, was that Adam? Was Adam asking that? Because he said, don't tell him what my question's going to be.
I want to say it was CJ and Peter both asked, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Maybe it wasn't CJ.
No, I was not wearing the Noah Gregor jersey. I was not. No, and actually, if I went to the game and knew that he was playing on Florida, I would have worn it. Yes, and I would have probably come down and showed him, hey, it's still me. I still got your signature on it. Don't sign it again. We don't need that. But just, I'm here for you, buddy. So.
He would look at the bench and go, I really don't know this
I don't know this dude. Yeah, is that your cousin or something? Yeah. Who has a Noah Gregor signed jersey? It's got to be relation of some sort.
Did you pay this guy to show that you have fans?
You like slip him 50. There you go. Yeah. Anyway, anything else on these graphics and whatnot? Or are we, Super Producer Jason, we got more graphics?
We got more.
He
coming
looks
up.
really happy.
We got more coming up.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we were talking about the standings.
Yes.
And I still think they're going to be bottom 10.
Okay.
Underperforming teams to watch.
Yeah.
Right? So, again, we talk about American Thanksgiving coming up in about 2 weeks. A lot of teams like to kind of see where they're at. If you remember going back to the Joe Thornton trade, it was right around the Thanksgiving time because at that time, I think the Sharks were in a 10-game losing streak, and I think Boston was in some kind of losing streak, and they talked to each other and said, we need to do something.
Yeah.
Here, we're going to trade Joe Thornton, and Doug Wilson spit out his coffee and said, you're going to do what? All right, here, I'll give you my 3 best players, and Marco Sturm, Wayne Primo, and Brad Stewart.
Yeah.
The finest of gentlemen, and you can have them. And stole that.
Anyway. I mean, just absolutely freaking embarrassing.
Yeah, it is now. I mean, honestly,
Right.
yeah. But anyway.
Anyway, so that's kind of where what we talk about Thanksgiving time is a lot of teams that are underperforming that shouldn't be underperforming. Going from the bottom, Calgary should be there. They're in a rebuild mode. Nash,
even with the savior of the franchise.
last
Wolf,
year was
no?
a surprise. Wolf got them there. They weren't supposed to be there. That was a surprise. I think sophomore slump is hitting him a little bit. So he's not performing as well. Calgary themselves are just not scoring.
Sophomore slump. We don't know what that is. It's strange.
Right.
Yeah.
Buffalo down there again, but they're not really in a competitive. St. Louis Blues is kind of hit or miss. I could see them possibly blowing up the team a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe Binnington is gone. We'll see about that. Did you see what he did?
No, thank you.
Did you see what he did for Ovechkin's 900th goal?
He
Put it down his pants.
Yeah, he pocketed the puck.
Yeah. Like nobody was going to know.
What a goof.
Yeah, that's Binnington.
I don't like that guy.
That is his attitude all the time. Vancouver is an interesting team. That's a team that could get blown up. And that's with one of the Hughes brothers. Quinn Hughes is on that team, one of the best defensemen in the league, offensive defenseman. Toronto Maple Leafs also down there. Florida, not surprising just because of the injuries. I'm not worried about them.
Once they get back from injury, you think they're coming back to the top?
Yep. Okay. Edmonton is in that 11th spot right now from the bottom, but they're all tied. So they're all within each other. But so I think Toronto, Vancouver, Toronto just because of the media, they got to do something.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if something moves, but not a blow up situation. Vancouver, I can see get blown up. St. Louis, I can see getting blown up. Nashville, I could see possibly getting blown up. Maybe even firing their GM.
Part of the reason that we even brought up underperforming teams is because we've been talking about how the Sharks need to unload a contract, and so therefore we think a trade is on the horizon here. So who would be potential trade partners? Potentially teams that are underperforming and looking to shake things up to make themselves perform better. I don't want to say necessarily players and identify certain things. There was one that you brought up, and if you want to bring it up, you certainly can. But Quinn. But yeah, so and then actually the group back. We'll talk about this one real quick, and you can talk a little bit about it. Tyler Myers. Yes. The fantasy hockey group said Tyler Myers is a guy we should be targeting. If you want to go ahead and talk a little bit about that, then fire away.
A right-handed shot defenseman that is 6'8". I think he fits the MO of Mike Grier, right? That's a very good defensive defenseman. He's not going to really. I don't think his scoring days are kind of past him. So. But kind of like Desharnais, a similar player, but I think Myers is a little better than Desharnais. But one of those guys is going to have to, the Sharks have to get rid of 2 players to bring in 1 player. So I'm not quite sure what Grier has up his sleeve.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's already, he probably has a lot of things in the works right now. There could be teams that are on hold, like those teams that I mentioned that might blow up the team. Mm-hmm. They might already be kind of shopping, going, hey, if we hit this point in the season at this date and we're still kind of down here, I'm going to give you a call and let's make something happen. Those things, backdoor deals, are always going around. They're always constantly on the phone working out some stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if something is kind of already there. I mean, he kind of had to have a plan with both Dickinson and Misa looking like they're going to be sticking with the team. How fortuitous that Misa gets hurt and gets put on IR, right? Is he really that hurt?
I don't know if he's hurt. That might be a Mark Stone situation.
That was he got hurt in warm-up before the game and was scratched late in the game. Late, not in the game, but before the game started when they're warming up before the game.
Yeah.
They had to scratch him and put him on IR the next day because he got hurt.
Yeah.
Now that, to me, I wouldn't be surprised if he got injured. To me, that's soft tissue. That is a groin injury. That is something that he tweaked something and it got worse, or he strained something.
Yeah.
So he's going to be out for a little bit. So when you go on IR, you have to miss a minimum of 3 games. So he's going to be out still for another week or so.
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
I just saw that somebody said Skinner. He thought Skinner was gone. You know what? Jeff Skinner was the most dangerous Shark on the ice for the first couple of weeks or so. And he's cooled off quite a bit. I would hate to see him go because I know what he can do. And we saw it in full effect in that first couple weeks or so, where even when he wasn't scoring, my God, the opportunities this guy was getting, and he was putting them on, and they were just either hit post or make a big save or whatever, but the guy's dangerous. Unfortunately, I don't think the Sharks necessarily need him right now. They're getting scoring up and down the lineup. And I mean, I don't know.
He's on the third line now. Like tonight, I kind of like that line. It was Graf, Delandry, and Skinner as a third line, because with Graf defensively responsible, Delandry at 2, but they still have a scoring punch with Graf and
Skinner
Yeah. So I like that line. That's also a line where Misa's going to be playing, right? Most likely, probably that third line. So maybe the second line kind of bounce between the two, kind of shield him a little bit, put him on that third line.
So I guess I could see if Skinner was one of those guys, because maybe there's some redundancy on the team, right? Maybe we don't need Jeff Skinner as much as we did prior to our streak, right? So I could definitely see some redundancy there, and we would need to unload a defenseman because we have too many. But if we were to take those 2 players and bring 1 player back, then certainly you'd get rid of enough contracts, and then you really wouldn't have to send anybody else down because you'd be taking 2 players off of your NHL roster. don't forget, we also have guys that are overcooking in the AHL that might be redundant as well. When they're ready to go, we may not need some of these guys, and I would hate to see a guy like a Musty, right, get shipped.
I would not be surprised if that happens.
But as we've said, something's got to give. If Michael Misa's going to enter this roster more on a full-time basis after he's done with his injury, if that's going to happen, somebody must be shipped out. A contract must be shipped out. And it's not just about the 50 contracts, it's also about the 23-man roster. So you can only have so many, and if you're only 23-man, you try to waive somebody to put them down, you can, but then you might end up losing whoever that is, right?
Well, that might help you.
Yeah, that could help you too, but
you can't rely on it either, because what if nobody takes them?
Yeah.
What do you think about Iorio? Right now he's on a conditioning stint with the Barracuda.
Yeah.
Because he's coming off an injury, so he's allowed to go there without clearing waivers.
Yeah.
And he'll be allowed to be called back up without clearing waivers, only because of the conditioning stint.
I got to tell you, I like Iorio. I really do. And I think the age is a big factor in that as well. He's a young guy. He can come up with the rest of the team. And I know that your point about having guys from different draft years and different age groups and everything else, at the same time, when you have a good young talent that you believe in, and I think the Sharks believe in him, I think you got to ride with him. I think you got to go. And if for some reason it's not going to work out, at least he's that trade chip maybe down the road or whatever. But I think for now, you utilize him and you hope that he's one of those guys that grows with the team, because you never know what's going to happen with Mook Madulin. I mean, he's been injured a few times. You never know what's going to happen with Sam Dickinson. It's his first year. Is he going to have a great first year, sophomore slump, and then disappear? We don't know. So it's always nice to have these guys still around that are still very young and very talented. I think Iorio fits that bill. But yeah, that's my take on it. At the same time, again, you're in a tough spot right now, whether you want to believe it or not. You've got to get rid of a guy. And if the only guy that anybody else is interested in it is Iorio, well, dude, you just picked him up essentially for free.
Right.
So, I mean, asset management by Mike Greer 101, right? I mean, he's done such a fantastic job of it.
Yes.
So yeah, if you take on a guy that you like, but then you move him for somebody who's better, I mean, okay, great, fine, whatever. So I don't know. I like Iorio, but again, it's the business. So if that's what needs to happen to make us compliant, then fine. But anyway.
Yeah, I think to your point about Musty being moved, and we're not saying Musty is going to get moved, but a player like Musty, a high caliber prospect where the pipeline is kind of jammed right now, and they're not going to get an opportunity. But those kinds of trades are more going to be a higher valued asset, an established NHL player coming into the Sharks. It's not going to be for what they've been doing lately, draft picks, reclamation projects, or anything else, a washed up player or a salary dump by another team. This is going to be Musty type player would get traded for a very well established player, probably coming from a team that is looking to rebuild, and Musty would be a great candidate as one, or other players like Beasted maybe, or who are some other ones that are there?
Oh, Lund.
Cardwell.
That is a big one there.
Yeah.
I would hate to see him go, but the short right-handed Kenyoni. I'd hate to see him go. I'd like to see him get an opportunity at the show. You know? I think he can prove people wrong there too.
My only point is none of those players are safe.
Yeah.
I don't think any of those are locks to not get traded, and they're not actively looking to trade those. It's more of the Sharks are now in a position of, hey, we're looking like we're turning the corner here. The rebuild is kind of done. Now we're building onto what we have. Yeah. They're kind of in that stage now. But if they're going to be surprised and make the playoffs, they're going to want to make this team better. Yeah. How do you make this team better? To me, it's the defense. Yeah. The offense, I think, is fine, as is. I think the defense is what needs to get reworked. One or two other, not even offensive defensemen, just straight up defensive defensemen, shutdown defensemen. The Sharks are missing that one shutdown defenseman guy. Mook Madulin does a great job. Orlov does a great job, but they're not number one shutdown defenseman. If you can get one of those guys on your team, this team would skyrocket.
Yeah, you're looking for this generation's Vlasic, essentially, right?
Yeah. Just a total shutdown defenseman. You don't need to do anything with the puck.
Yeah.
When you're playing with Dickinson or Mook Madulin or anybody else, just give them the puck let Klingberg do his thing, and you stay back and stop everything else.
It's funny because, and you don't have to bring it up, but it's funny because the hypothetical trade that you floated to me. Remember, I was saying, put that in Vancouver's chat.
Oh God,
do you remember?
I remember. It was
Quinn. That is not a defensive defenseman. He was talking about Quinn Hughes and trying, because again, Vancouver looking like they might be a team that would be willing to start blowing things up.
Yes.
And if that was the case, and they were willing to unload a Quinn Hughes, you were talking about a first being Edmonton's, which frankly, Edmonton right now, I don't know who's going to have. I don't know who's going to be higher up.
They'll be fine.
I'm just saying.
This happened a couple years ago where they were. Remember at New Year's they were out of a playoff spot, and then they played their way all the way to the top.
Okay.
Edmonton did.
Okay.
So I'm not worried until it gets to February. If they're out of a playoff spot in February, then I'll be like, okay, maybe they'll do something.
Well, he was talking about I think it was Musty and a first and
second
and you had a few
first,
things in
a
there.
second,
Yeah.
Musty. Because it would be the Sharks' second round pick, because
Right.
that's basically a late round first pick, kind of.
Yeah.
Not so much
Not anymore.
but,
Yeah.
a first, a second, and
You had Musty in there,
Musty.
and then you had somebody else, another prospect.
I think
or two.
I think it was just a body because of contracts or something.
Sure.
And then getting Quinn Hughes.
And get Quinn Hughes. Yeah. I don't know that would be. I don't know that that's enough, frankly. But and it's also Vancouver giving it to the Sharks. They'd want to have them go east.
Right.
You know.
Maybe.
But, yeah. Anyway, possible. So moving on from that, I guess one of the other things I want to say was we talked about Celebrini and Bedard at the top of the show, and this is gonna pay off now.
Yeah.
Emily Kaplan, who is ESPN's top NHL insider. During the game tonight, she had said that she talked with some of the GMs and whatnot for the Team USA, Team Canada, right? And some of the folks she was talking to on the Team Canada side had said, yes, we're confirming Bedard and Celebrini are both very much still in the running.
Duh.
Yeah, I know, right? But they're very much still in the running, and they've narrowed it down to I think 40 or so players, right? So they basically have 2 rosters worth. I mean, probably both rosters
Yeah,
would
and
be
it probably is the most players.
ridiculously good, right? But essentially what she said, though, was that, yes, they're both in the running, but that Celebrini had a bit more of an inside track. Those were her words. Now, you read that however you want. For me, it just feels like in the pecking order, Celebrini's a little bit above where Bedard would be. Now, again, if you're a Chicago fan and you're upset hearing that, sorry. I'm just repeating what Emily Kaplan said, and she is an insider. I am just a guy at a beautiful wooden desk. Okay, that's all I am. I'm just regurgitating what she said. However, it is what everyone has been saying, is that Celebrini is a more complete player, and if you're going to play for Team Canada, I imagine they would be very interested in a more complete player.
You need penalty killers, right?
You do.
And you need skilled penalty players.
Yes.
Penalty killers. I think that's where Team USA always kind of trumps over Team Canada.
Better PK?
Better PK. Because they don't have as much talent. So
they're more blue collar.
They're more blue collar. Yeah, I think their bottom lines, their top lines are great, but I think they have more blue collar type players that do the dirty work and get in the trenches for PKs. Where I think other teams, I mean, Team Canada, the big storyline is not who's on the team; it's who didn't make it. Right? Who got snubbed?
It's unfair because honestly, again, they had narrowed it down to 40. Canada can make 2 teams, and they would both probably dominate. Right? So, I mean, I don't know. Again, we talk about this whole Bedard Celebrini thing, and this is going to be for the next, 20 years? We're going to talk about this, who's better or whatever. Frankly, again, we have our take on it, but it's, again, not like Bedard is bad in any way, shape, or form. He's fantastic. But I would rather have the 200-foot player. That's just me, right? So, again, Celebrini, according to Emily Kaplan, has a bit of an inside track over Bedard when it comes to consideration for Team Canada. Should they both make it? Probably, yeah. Right? Probably, yeah. Are they both going to make it? I have no idea, and it doesn't really matter. But, man, would it be nice to see Mac and Celebrini wearing that Team Canada jersey.
Absolutely.
Would you get one?
I think it's going to happen. I mean, look at the summer.
Yeah.
Who do you train with?
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
Yeah, no, Crosby and McKinnon.
Yes.
Yeah.
And who was on Team Canada? Crosby and McKinnon. Right?
I honestly, I don't think that they don't select Celebrini.
I don't think that was a coincidence.
Yeah.
That he was invited to come out with them and play with them.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure that, again, backdoor dealing kind of thing for Team Canada.
Yeah.
And he's earned it. I'm not saying he hasn't, right?
Yeah.
It's not like he's playing politics or anything. And that bum Bedard is behind Celebrini in the scoring race, by the way.
Yes.
He is tied.
Again, Chicago
third.
fans, I'm going to keep saying he's a bum. Understand that I'm just joking, sort of. But, like, yeah, don't get mad, okay? Just don't get mad.
Bedard is
having fun.
Bedard has a very punchable face.
He does.
Yeah.
Very punchable.
I don't know why.
I don't want to hear about freaking fragile, okay?
Anyway. Yeah, I'm proud of our guy. That's all. And I'm sure Bedard will be on that team alongside him. Wouldn't it be interesting if they played on the same line?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be interesting?
Yes.
All the Vancouver fans are going, bring him home.
Yeah, right. God.
Anyway,
All
okay,
right.
moving on from that one, I just wanted to go ahead and poke the bear at the Chicago folks a little bit.
Yeah.
The Joe Thornton inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame segment. Here it is.
This is amazing. Obviously, we knew this was happening.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a surprise. But Joe Thornton got inducted to the Hall of Fame
Holy doodle.
with a couple other big name stars here. We have this picture. It has Brianna Decker, Danielle Sauvignon
Blanc.
Zdeno Chara, Duncan Keith, Alexander Mogilny, Jack Parker, and Jennifer Botterill. But Joe Thornton, absolute just a beauty here. There's a couple pictures we have in here. So he shows up. They do the puck drop at the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now this is him doing his one of his, I don't know, not a speech, but
Just an interview of sorts.
yeah, just a little interview with some people. Like the beard is still there. Okay, so they did the puck drop, right? After the puck drop, this is right after the puck drop. That is Austin Matthews giving Joe Thornton a big hug. Look what Joe Thornton is wearing compared to everybody else. What are his pants? He's in jeans. Everybody's in a suit, and then there's Jumbo in his jeans on the ice. What a character. There's also a video of him, and I think I reposted a couple of these on Instagram, but there was a video of him going into his like junior league, right? And he announced the lineup of the junior league, the lineup for them, and he was starting to cry, like he was getting emotional.
Yeah.
There's another video of him talking kind of smack about Gary Bettman. That's the one I reposted. Did you see that one?
No, I missed it.
In the induction speech, he says, Gary Bettman, you cost me $7 million because of the lockout in 04, 05?
Yeah.
You cost me $7 million. And he goes, but you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world because I went to, where did he play? Austria? I always forget.
No, it was
Was it Sweden?
Davos. He was playing in Sweden, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I met my wife and everything, and he's like, I wouldn't trade for it. He was crying. He was great. And he's like, he mentions his kids. He's like, I love you. It was so great. It was a very emotional weekend for him. It was so awesome. Zdeno Chara also, I don't know if, here's the one. This is a picture, a post from Ryan Close Instagram here. So look who's in that picture. That on the left is Tommy Wingles, I believe, right? Is that who that is? Joe Pavelski, Ryan Clough, Thornton in the middle, Marlowe next to him, Douglas Murray, and Logan Couture all there for the big night for the big man.
Not wearing his jeans in that picture.
Not wearing his jeans. Yeah. He's got his nice big ring on his finger, though. I think that's the Hall of Fame ring. Because it's not his wedding ring hand. You can see, look at that giant thing on his hand. Enhance, yes. Anyway, it was cool to see. What was I just gonna say? I was gonna say something else about Zdeno Chara.
Okay.
6'9" defenseman, right? Yeah. Obviously going into the Hall of Fame. I didn't know all this stuff. He's played the most games as an NHL defenseman. No defenseman has played more games than Zdeno Chara.
Really?
Yes. Also, they were doing like a true or false thing with him. He ran 2 back-to-back marathons within a week of each other. And he posted these ridiculous times in both of them. The man is just a ridiculous athlete.
Yeah.
He's climbed Mount Kilimanjaro. He's done all this other stuff. It's just amazing. Zdeno Chara is obviously the GOAT. Probably one of the best defensemen ever. Speaking of defensive defensemen, the guy is 6'9". His reach was just unreal.
Yeah.
Oh, he has the hardest slap shot on record.
Yes.
108 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Insane. It was one of the All-Star games. He hit it in the skills competition. It was 108.8 or something. Just absurd. I mean, some guys can break 100.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like a fastball in baseball.
And I'm not sure exactly what the number is, but on hockey sticks you have something called a flex rating, and if it's like my kid uses a 30 flex or a 40 flex, right? And essentially, when you bend the stick, when you see players taking shots, and you see that stick kind of turn into like a what do you call it? Like a noodle, right? So when you start seeing that, that's that flex. Well, on most sticks that are like on the small, yeah, you're going right where I'm going, yeah. So on most sticks for like my height. I'm actually 5'7", so I have like a junior height stick. So my sticks would be like a 55 or 65 flex. And frankly, some guys in the NHL were using.
What's Timo using when we did that?
Oh,
was it 80?
He's like an 80s. Yeah. Most guys of that higher are in the 70s and 80s, I think, because they like it being a little bit more on the whippy side because they're ridiculozdano strong. Zdeno Chara being 6'9", and being ridiculously strong, his flex rating is actually what you just showed on the screen. 35 higher than what I thought it was. His flex rating is 155.
Yeah.
That is absurd. That's like a piece of steel that he's trying to shoot with.
68 inches long, the stick.
That is bonkers.
So
the higher the flex rating is, the stiffer the stick is. But a guy like that is able to flex that thing, and of course the stick wants to go back from being bent to being true. So when you have 155 flex, and that thing wants to go back to true, you better believe that puck is jumping off that blade. So yeah, 108, not surprising now that I see it was 155 flex.
Hockey Stick Man on Instagram posts everyone's kind of stats and everything on the set. He said his 155 flex is among the highest we've ever seen, and that's saying something given the number of pro stock twigs we come across on a daily basis. So yeah, that's absolutely nuts.
Oh, Robot Bay. Thanks for... Oh, hey, I haven't seen you guys in a while. That's awesome, bud. It's the amount of weight required to bend the stick 1 inch. There you go.
Wow. So it's like almost a pounds per square inch.
Apparently that's what it... Yeah, the flex rating actually means.
Crazy.
Yeah. So for my son, to bend it 1 inch, you'd have to put 30 pounds of pressure on it to make it bend an inch. For that one, you'd have to put 155 pounds of pressure to make it bend an inch.
The guy's a freak athlete.
He's also 6'9".
Right.
Let's get
But also, like, when you get tall people like that,
yeah.
they aren't as athletic.
Yeah.
Because their bodies aren't I don't know, built
Are
the
you
same.
calling Vinny Desharnais not athletic?
No, that's
Wow.
why, like, basketball players, they're freak athletes. Football players, too. Like, they're freak athletes because they're so enormous.
Okay. So congratulations to Joe Thornton. Anything other ones? Did we miss a graphic or anything that you wanted to talk about? Or
No,
nothing?
I'm
good
sure
there.
super producer Jason's happy about
so
those graphics.
happy that we're done with the graphics for today. That's a wrap. We're done.
I
No.
skipped
Upcoming
over
games.
a few.
You skipped
Upcoming games, yeah, to save them. This Thursday they're playing Calgary, in Calgary at 6 p.m. This will be an interesting one because Calgary is low in the standings. They're at the bottom of the standings right now. So if the Sharks could do it, in fact, someone had mentioned earlier the Sharks should go after Uyghur, which is a defenseman on Calgary. I wouldn't mind seeing that either. I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting shopped around too. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that move. Saturday they're playing in Seattle, and I will actually be at this game. I'm traveling to go to Seattle this weekend. I'm leaving Friday. Hopefully, if my flights don't get canceled because of all the turmoil going on.
Oh my God.
Marshall, friend of the show, is also going with me, so we are going together to this game. So if you are at the Seattle game and you'd like to meet up or do something, we will be there. So
you and Marshall will be there. Yeah,
Marshall and I will be there. Not Paul. Paul's not invited. He's not going.
I'm actually gonna be in Las Vegas.
Right.
For a tournament. I was just in Chicago for a tournament. You talked about turmoil at the airport. Don't even get me started. Oh my God.
Chicago's a hub too, so that's just a mess out there. Then their next show is not going to be on Sunday, speaking of traveling, because somebody will be traveling we won't be doing it. So
Could beat off walls.
Again,
why?
we will be live again next Tuesday night, pretty much during the end of the Utah game. So the Sharks are playing the Utah. I was going to say Jazz. The Utah Mammoth. Utah Jazz just rolls off the tongue. Utah Mammoth. Bleh.
I can say it was, a lot last, month.
Hey, anything's better than the Utah Hockey Club, though, right?
I don't know. I kind of like the Utah Hockey Club better
over the Mammoth.
Mammoth, yeah.
I thought Mammoth's okay.
Mammoth is like AHL team name, like just with the gimmicks. Tusks up. Come on.
Tusks up, baby.
Come on.
You know how many people were laughing when we were doing the chomp for the first time, though?
That's classic.
Yeah, and it is now.
Yeah.
It was goofy when they first started it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So anyway. So these games here, Calgary, you're definitely expecting a win against Calgary.
Expecting a win, but because it's the NHL, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost. But yes, I'm expecting them to beat Seattle. Seattle.
And Seattle.
And Seattle.
Aaron says the win streak continues.
I am nervous about Seattle because they kind of embarrassed Seattle the last game.
Okay.
That was will be 10 days ago by the time this game's played.
Yeah.
I think Seattle's going to come out hard in that game, and I think they're not going to let up at all. So hopefully the Sharks can weather the storm and take it to him, because it will suck if it goes the other way around and I'm there.
It will be a Seattle storm of mediocrity that you're going to be seeing. I think.
I will be sleeping
Yes.
in my seat.
There you go.
So bored out of my mind with this bland vanilla team.
All right, so a win in Calgary. Oh, you think a win in Seattle, but you're worried about it.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so
Yes.
we'll call that one maybe an overtime win.
Yes.
How about that? Okay, because we need more of those.
Right.
And then Utah.
Utah
Again.
is a tough team now.
Yeah.
I think they kind of went through the rebuild when they were in Arizona. It's great for Utah, right? It sucks
Yeah.
for Arizona because they've been rebuilding forever. Kind of like what the Sharks have been doing for the last 2 years. They've been doing for the last 15 years, maybe. So
I mean, just absolutely freaking embarrassing.
Utah sweeps in and buys this team. The Utah Jazz owner buys the team from the Arizona Coyotes and turns them into the Utah Bleh. And they are good. Like, they are a good team, a legit team. So I could see this team going to the playoffs for sure.
Okay. The Utah Blue.
The Utah Bleh.
I want that jersey.
Right? And they're already blue. They got blue and black. So it'd be perfect for the jersey. Okay. I guess the one thing I wanted to say about the Utah game, by the way, was it is going to be our next live show. It is on a Tuesday. Again, normally we're trying to aim for Sundays, but because of kids' schedules and traveling and everything else, we're not doing it on the day. This is, again, where I ask you guys, this is why you hit the subscribe button, right? Because we're not really sure exactly on every single show that we do when we're going to be doing it. So if we don't know, how could you possibly know? Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell. Then you know, and you're not going to be late for the show. You could be inside of the chat there having a good time with everybody else and making fun of Chicago fans. So there you go. Anything else?
You can also become a member.
There you go.
And shout out to our members. Brycar is here.
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Crichton.
Crichton was here.
And some guy named Aaron Sholl.
Yeah, I don't know. That guy's weird.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
Doesn't
him.
really show up that
Yeah.
often.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's all is here tonight. So thank you for being a member.
Yeah.
If you would like to become a member, just go to our channel and click the button, Become a Member Today. And it will be $2.99 a month. That goes to us. That helps us run the show. And you get special recognition down in the chat room. As you can see, Brad Carr talking, and he's got a little star next to his name, and his color is different than everyone else.
got the
he
gold
stands out
star
a lot.
now.
Gold star, yeah.
he's been
It
a
changes.
member.
Every month it changes, and you get a new, emoji and other stuff. And so we just did last week we did our show on the food and
Yes,
beverage, right, at the
yeah.
arena. That actually went out to members first for the first few days, and then it got open to the public. So we're going to look to do some more of that kind of stuff to reward our members and thank them for letting us or becoming members for our show.
Exclusive. We need, instead of the more you know, we need exclusive across the top, I think. Work on that one later.
That'll come.
Graphics. He loves graphics.
Yes.
We need the budget for
we need the budget. We need more members first.
There you go.
That'll
So
help.
help us out, and we'll come up with an exclusive thing. There you go. Get on that. All right. No audio on that one. Okay. So I guess that does it for the show, guys. Thank you again for being a part of it. It's what makes the show fun when we do the live shows. Having you guys in there chatting with us, giving us all this stuff. We saw a bunch of people from during the roll call kind of responding there. I'm sorry we didn't get to all of your comments there, but again, really do appreciate you guys being a part of it. And I guess that's it. So for super producer Jason, I'm Paul,
And I'm Aaron.
and we will see you guys
Next Tuesday.
on Tuesday, right after the Utah game, or at least during
Probably during the third
the
period.
end of it. Yeah. I like doing those shows because we get to talk with them a little bit while the game's going on. Please be there, and again, hit that sub button so you can be there. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our show.